Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church, Stony Stratford, and we're continuing our series of short talks with an Advent theme. And today we come to a very well-known reading. It's Isaiah chapter 9, verses 6 and 7. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Isaiah ministered in very difficult times. The actual background to this is an Assyrian invasion of the northern kingdom. And that's why the reading actually starts, if we go back to the start of chapter 9, nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who are in distress. In the past, he has humbled the land of Zerubbabel and the land of Naphtali. But in the future, he will honour Galilee of the Gentiles by way of the sea along the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of shadow of death, a light has dawned. They often say that the darkest hour is just before the dawn. And the picture painted here, as I said, is a very dark one. Invasion by a cruel foreign country. The Assyrians were not known for being very benevolent. They were absolutely barbarous and indeed treated those nations they conquered very harshly. But nevertheless, Isaiah points to some hope, because this is showing that God is proactive where his people are concerned. Well, how's that going to be? Well, it's all about God's doing. Verse 6, for to us, God is being proactive. God is bringing a son, a child that is going to be born and is going to make a difference. It's an incredible description, but we'll get onto that in a while. So what's the difference this child makes? Well, everything that wasn't the case in Israel at that time. You look at it and you see that there's going to be stable government. The government will be on his shoulders. He can deal with everything. The picture is of a wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, all the things they didn't have at that time. Stable government is something that people long for, and often perhaps we look around and perhaps we would think, well, who's capable of doing it? Well, the picture here is Isaiah saying to a nation that's in turmoil, God can handle it. The titles that are given to this child who will provide God's rule are ones that inspire hope. Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. This is a stable role. He will do it. Why do we know that? Well, we get this lovely picture at the end when it talks after an everlasting kingdom. And it's basically saying God will accomplish this. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Something that we desperately sometimes want in our lives is order. We may feel we've got things pretty much together, but what about the world around us? Well, I hate to say it, but often the world around us is just really a reflection of who we are. Whatever we may think about ourselves, unless we acknowledge God's rule, we're in rebellion against him. We can't really say, I have nothing against him. Do you have anything for him? The picture, as I said, that's given here is one of incredible hope. Just listen to how this passage is used in the New Testament in the book of Matthew. In Matthew 4, verses 15 and 16, it's used to introduce Jesus' ministry. The land of Zebulun, the land of Naphtali, the way of the sea along the Jordan, the Galilee of the Gentiles, the people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned. How does Matthew proceed? Verse 17. From that time on, Jesus began to preach, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is near." At Christmas, we think of that child, Jesus, being born, God's ruler. Indeed, what's one of his titles given by Isaiah? Mighty God. God intervening in human history. Here's a picture of God being proactive. So, as we move into the Christmas season, no doubt you'll be busy with getting everything ready, doing what you need to do. But just remember this, Christmas is about what God has done, not about us having a good time, although there's nothing wrong with that, but it's about what God has done in relation to us and the wonderful promises he holds out to us. Thank you again for listening.